How's it going, guys? My name's Earl here. What I have here is finally a brand new MacBook on this channel. This is an M4 MacBook Air, one of the best value MacBooks you can get in 2026. And yes, it is already 2026, but I am recording this right after Christmas because I bought two of these for my family. And honestly, when I tell you guys this is one of the best value propositions you can get right now, it literally is. Now I got this for around $750 off of Amazon. So if you put that in a perspective of buying a machine like this in 2019, which costs almost $5,000, this has the maxed out i9, 64 gigabytes of memory, 1 terabyte of storage, and the AMD Radeon 5600M, the 16-inch MacBook Pro right here. It is crazy to think that this passively cooled machine, as you can see right here, very thin design, no fans, very quiet, is far more powerful in just 5 years. That is a tremendous progress in technology, and that is one of the best parts about M chips and the ARM processor. Now, one of the only reasons why I haven't really considered upgrading to a newer MacBook Pro is, you can see it right here, lack of boot camp support. Now, yes, of course you can run Parallels. Unfortunately, you're going to be sharing resources with macOS. You won't be able to use your 16 gigabytes of RAM, which this thing comes with fully. You're going to be running a lot of processes in the background. So on top of that, you also have driver support because Windows has been, they've been getting better when it comes to ARM processor support. However, it still isn't the same, and a lot of the programs, especially like the editing software and this and that I use, hasn't really fully implemented ARM processors as well. So I'm not really sure how well this thing can perform when it comes to running Parallels with Windows, but for basic tasks like opening a certain program that someone needs for school using Parallels on Windows, it might be fine. But I think what I'm going to do later this year is I'm just going to build an actual PC for Windows and have a MacBook with an M chip as my portable go-to. And we'll see how that goes, especially with the RAM prices ramping up right now. Honestly, it makes the 64 gigabyte 2019 i9 right here such a tremendous deal. You really can't buy a 64 gigabyte sticks or a pair of 32 gigabytes for less than $600. Everything is just crazy right now with the AI. Anyway, going back to this, I feel like I am the perfect person to be impressed by the M chips because I have not really experienced a lot of M processors in my life the past 5 years. The newest one being the one I uploaded with the M1 machine. I sold that because 8 gigabytes is just not cutting it. And so with Apple upgrading this to 16 gigabytes, it's actually a welcome change. Now, this specific MacBook right here, one of the reasons why Apple decided to upgrade to 16 gigabytes is because they wanted more memory for the AI intelligence. I just can't believe a MacBook this thin is even possible. This is a proper Air MacBook, and it looks good as well. I really like this design far more than the actual MacBook Pro. I'm pretty sure later on in the next couple of years, the MacBook Pro would look exactly like this as well. Very thin design. I'm sure they'll be able to implement somehow some sort of vapor chamber or something like that, like the iPhone 17s, to keep it cool while having a very thin design, because I really love this design, especially now that we have access to a lot of performance without producing a lot of heat. You know, I am a very old school guy because I have a USB-A to USB-C adapter right here, and my Micro Center USB is a USB-A. In order for me to install applications, I need this. Now, while waiting for this thing to upload, or I guess you could say download these applications and games, I am not feeling any warmth. Now, it is a bit on the warmer side in the middle right here, this area right here, but it's nothing too uncomfortable to the touch. It is relatively cool. And I already have done so many things in less than 10 minutes. I have downloaded Photoshop, Lightroom, downloaded Steam. Of course, we are still waiting on the Minecraft launcher, but wow, this is a quick machine. That's one of the things that I really love about ARM processors, is that they just seem so instantaneous. I think the best way for me to describe them would be comparing the Intel machines as gas-powered cars and the ARM M chips being electric cars. They are like instant torque. It really is prevalent when you open Safari right now, messages, mail, maps, photos, you name it. As you can see, I'm literally opening all the applications on the freaking desktop, and it's taking it like a champ. And that's on top of that, we are running Steam, downloading Creative Cloud and Minecraft at the same time, and voila, it's like nothing has ever happened. With Intel machines, it's like it takes a bit to get up there in speed. You know, obviously once you get it going, it will be relatively quick, but it's like you have to shift to second gear, third gear, you know, you have to wait for that turbo to spool up or something like that. It's amazing to see the progress in technology, and it all started with the M1 machine. It takes far more longer for me to close all these applications than it is to open it. That is one sight to behold. Also, the only downside I could think of is, it's definitely getting warmer, but it's not too bad yet. Only having 2 USB-C ports. I feel like you could have easily put another one on this side right here. Maybe not 4 if you're on a budget Apple, but I hope the next MacBook Airs would have at least 3 USB-Cs, because one is for the dongle situation, 2 could be an extra one, and the third one could be some sort of display. So this is a previous gen, or I guess you could say a first generation MacBook Air right here, 13-inch. And it's very similar in size, if I can open it, as you can see right there. But one thing I noticed is that it does have an SD card, so Apple could easily put that for the next generation. I hope Apple does, because the Air is a really good form factor. I don't like the Pro being quite on the thicker side of things. Look at this form factor. It is significantly smaller. Not only the new MacBook Air has a far more smaller form factor, it also has a slightly bigger display. And that is crazy to think. As you can see right there, that is a pretty good comparison. Now, let's go ahead and compare the thinness of this, because I'm actually quite curious. I think it should be the same. Matter of fact, this MacBook Air right here is far more thicker on the back end than the front. Now, obviously, if you compare it, the very front right here, let's see if it's actually thinner or... yeah, it's definitely thinner, but, you know, the thing is, I'm not really too much of a fan of this taper edge design. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and test out the speakers, because I did hear that the speakers are fantastic. Thank you so much for 1 million views. That is unreal to think about. I would say it's very similar to the M1 MacBook Air. It is a bit more bassy on the side of things, but I think it's very similar. Let's go ahead and put it up to 4K. Is that even a question? I don't think it's even an issue with it. 4K, yeah, 4K is not an issue. You know what? The benchmarks that I usually do with the older Intel MacBooks is irrelevant for the most part. It's gonna be smooth sailing, no matter what. The speakers are great, the screen is gorgeous, and it works just like any other modern machine. Okay. Okay, this might sound weird, but for some reason I feel like the M1 MacBook Air, as far as I remember, was a little bit more crisper with the sound. Obviously this has better bass. You can definitely hear the bass more than usual, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's because the audio is coming from this keyboard, not directly out with the speaker grills. I feel like it isn't as good as well, what you'd find in a 2019 MacBook or MacBook Pro 16-inch right here. I mean, when I say it's not as good, it's still far more better than 90% of the Windows machines you can get. I mean, this is really good. As everybody knows, Minecraft is probably one of the most popular games of all time, if not the most popular game of all time. We are curious to see how that M4 chip performs. Look at that. That is a guaranteed 60 FPS of gameplay right there, and we are at the cherry blossoms biome. Yeah, this isn't an issue. If you go ahead and check out the FPS counter right now, we are running at 111 FPS. This is only a 60 Hz display, so you won't really even experience that full 100 frames per second right there. Wow, wonderful. Now if you go ahead and go to Fabulous preset, as you can see right here, 32 chunks, yada yada yada. Everything turned on at the Fabulous settings. Let's see how many FPS we can get. We are still running at 111 FPS. It's like nothing has changed. And just to double check, we are running at the Fabulous preset. Yes, we are at 32 chunks. Now, if we go ahead and turn on the simulation distance right here, we are still hovering around playable FPS, 60 FPS. That is insane. This is probably the best performing laptop this channel has ever seen before so far. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I remember those days where you could not see that far away on Minecraft, and yet we can. Granted, I'm not sure how well this MacBook can sustain this performance, knowing that this is passively cooled. So yep, that is definitely warm on the touch. Man, for less than $1,000, you can get a laptop that has an all-day battery life, really good speakers, really good display, very thin design, very quick for a lot of day-to-day tasks. And the fact that it's less than $1,000 in 2026 is, yeah, really nice. Yep, no hiccups. No hiccups at all. Let's go to video settings. I'm gonna put everything up on the highest of the high. 16x on the anisotropic filtering. Hey minion, roll out. Oh, we got some monsters right here. I forgot you don't get any fall damage. So let's kill some monsters. Whoa! Bullymong.
Jack here, offering $1 million to whoever brings me the head of the Vault Hunter who just arrived in Liarsburg. Oh,
crap.
I'm still offering a reward for Roland, the mass murdering leader of the Crimson Raiders. Good hunting, bandits.
Son of a gun. Well, we do know that Borderlands 2 is not an issue. Let's try a much more recent video game. I wonder if I can get a FPS counter and apply. This is more on the demanding side when it comes to video games. This just came out last year, and I mean, you know, if you look at it, this is still a very perfectly playable game at medium settings. This is at medium settings right now. You can even go to the interior view. We've got some screen tearing. Oh, wow, I suck at this game. Graphics quality, put it to ultra, shadow quality ultra. We are gonna put everything to high. Okay, so ultra settings, this is where the M chips they don't really have good graphics compared to like a 5090 or the RTX series from NVIDIA. But, you know, for a unified system, it is still seriously impressive. Even without that snow effect, we are hovering at an astonishing 15 FPS when it comes to being at ultra setting. Let's see how warm this is. Okay, that is like straight up warm now. You cannot put that on your lap for sure. Now, one thing I have been noticing is that it's taking a while to close a lot of these games. Like, you get this beach ball situation right now that you see on the screen. That's the same for Borderlands as well, where it takes a bit of time to close the game fully. I don't know if that's because macOS has some sort of game optimization. Yeah, it as you can see, it takes a while. As you guys know, Photoshop is one of those things that I just use all the time, so I really like to see how this thing performs, and just looking by that quick load action earlier, yeah, this is not an issue. We can click new right here, click create, and bam, super duper quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and airdrop this picture of this fire truck. MacBook Air, let's see how quick that loads. Click accept, and bam, instantaneous. Now I'm gonna go ahead and drag and drop this, see how long it takes. And that is definitely a lot quicker than what you saw in the dual core and the 2012 MacBook Pro videos I made when it comes to AirDrop. Now this is a 24 megapixel picture from the iPhone 17 Pro right here. This is a test of the new M4 MacBook that I got. And that keyboard is wonderful. Click A, turn this to white, voila. Look at that, some image adjustments. We can brighten this up a little bit. So it really isn't an issue when it comes to productivity. I think the only time you'll probably see a lot of issues is when it comes to rendering. So like video editing in the long run, right after editing. Now, editing videos isn't gonna be a constant 100% on the CPU or any of the processes. The only time you really start to see when it comes to passively cooled machines like this MacBook right here is when it comes to rendering that. especially if it's rendering 4K. The first 30 seconds might be very quick, but then when it comes to long-term rendering 4K videos, that's where you'll probably see a significant drop in performance. And that is just because, nothing is cooling that M4 chip. That's where the Pro machines come in. Apple really gets you with that. But again, MacBook Airs are not targeted towards professionals. Overall, this machine, this is not an issue when it comes to using it in 2026. I highly doubt this will be an issue for the next 7 to 8 years. The M1 MacBook, it's been what, 5 years now? Totally fine usability wise, and for a lot of day-to-day tasks, the M1 MacBook still even is very quick. Even this Intel machine right here is still plenty capable of a lot of certain applications. Obviously, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but we are getting to that point where laptops or computers in general is just very slow when it comes to progress. So it's a lot of laptops, even a 2012 machine, which I recently uploaded, can run a lot of modern things such as the internet, the YouTube, streaming services, some video games, a couple of productivity. You will be fine when it comes to buying computers in general in this generation of computing. It isn't like the early 2000s where anything from the 2000s, when you start using it by 2010s, they're basically unusable. That is just not how it is anymore. And especially if you had a laptop from the 90s and you try using it in 2005, yeah, completely obsolete. An iPhone from 2020, an iPhone 12 Pro, is still plenty usable in 2026. So if you put that into perspective, technology isn't what it used to be, but it is still dramatically progressing. To summarize this laptop as a first impression, not only that this is passively cooled, it is also a very powerful machine. And the fact that it is sub $1,000. Yes, it has some caveats. It has 250 gigabytes of storage. I don't think that's ever enough, ever. And yes, it might not sustain long-term rendering. That's where the MacBook Pro comes in with the fans. It is still a really good machine for most people. And I highly recommend this to everyone who are looking for a good laptop that will last them for quite some time. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.